On this episode of Feel Dumb for Asking.
Besides my faith, I would say that fitness and exercise has been probably the number one therapy every day of my life.
And now, Ronnie and Bo.
Well, hey, you guys, it's Feel Dumb for Asking, and I hope you know by now you never have to feel dumb for asking, but
are you talking to me or just talking to anybody in general?
You, Bo. No, just
you always remind me of that.
Well,
for some reason,
we've all got a whole bunch of questions that for some reason or another feel like maybe we should know the answer, or we just kind of feel goofy for asking. But we're covering a broad range of things and just trying to give some good answers. Simple answers, good answers to some kind of crazy questions.
And the nice thing is, if we don't know the answers, we get experts to help us.
Well, and that's, I think, where we're headed today.
I like it.
Because we've got another special guest with us today, and my goodness, I don't even know where to begin, other than I already feel fatter than normal. And less in shape than normal, less talented than normal, less hardworking than normal, because in comparison, our guest today has to be one of the wildest, most hardworking, creative, all over the Swiss Army knife comes to mind.
Oh, that's a good description. Absolutely.
So Andy McDermott is our guest today. Andy, how are you?
I'll take that one, the Swiss Army knife. That's a nice way of saying that my life's been absolutely insane. So.
Well, we weren't saying it for that reason. We were saying it because you always carry a bottle opener. No, that's not true.
Perfect.
Oh man. Well, I've had the privilege of calling Andy you a friend for over 10 years or so now. I guess when we were both at Cornerstone there in Chandler, Arizona. Our lives overlapped when we were at the same church there for a while. Gosh, that's been more than that. That was like 05 to 08, right?
Yeah, yep, it's been a while.
Yeah, and so for those of you that are joining us today, Andy is a graduate of Northwestern University and was a soccer player. All Big Ten 3 years, team captain 3 years, then played 7 seasons of professional soccer.
So that's pretty amazing, not only scholastically, but athletically. So, that's about it for Andy, right? I mean, he didn't go any
You would
more,
think that. For most people, that
above and beyond that, did he?
Right, no. I mean, that's most people, that would be enough. But then he went on to earn his 3rd degree black belt, because the first wasn't enough, and the second wasn't enough. The third then... and then was the head instructor of a Taekwondo school.
Oh, well, that's pretty impressive. So that's what we're going to be talking to Andy about today, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, no, then after 9/11, then he served on the Tactical Response Unit of the Phoenix Police Department for 9 years. That's when my life intersected with Andy's. And
I was going to say, Andy's the type of guy that you really want to be friends with. Just because he's a great guy. But now that you tell me he knows Taekwondo and he was a police officer, you really want him to be your friend.
Yeah, exactly. Then on top of it, I loved this. While he was there, he competed in the World Police and Fire Games in 2012 and won the gold medal at the National Championships in the event called Toughest Competitor Alive.
Nice.
Which, I think that was your college nickname, right?
He's almost at this stage, his parents are almost proud of him.
Yeah.
But he still has to work on being certified as a translator in Spanish and French.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And a peer counselor for PTSD, trauma, subject matter expert, and physical training instructor for all Arizona law enforcement agencies.
He still gets in arguments with his sister. Tell me something wrong that Andy does.
No, it's not on the list. So then, and by the post that we have posted online with this episode, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. If you Google, you'll see. But then he became known as a sports performance and fitness expert. He's got over 100 published articles for national media, including Men's Fitness, Muscle and Fitness, and USA Today.
Well, anybody can have these credentials, but, can he act in Hollywood? I don't think.
Oh, yeah, no, he can do that too.
Huh?
He does that too. So he was discovered an actor when he was cast in a movie with Will Ferrell.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Called Everything Must Go, which I love that. Remember that? Did you see that where he had to put all his stuff out on that front lawn? And Andy showed up to address the issue playing a police officer there. And then moved to L.A., where he appeared in over 30 films and TV shows and many more commercials and photo campaigns. And then went on to help establish this Copa Soccer Training Center up in the Bay Area. And then now in Chicago with his family, his amazing wife, Julie, and their kids, embarking on another adventure, kind of similar in that intentional sports organization that you're getting going. So finally, we'll shut up. I don't think we've ever had to do an intro this long before, Bo, but nobody's been this interesting.
That was a great interview. Thank you for joining us, Andy.
Unfortunately, I don't think anyone's listening anymore.
That's probably right. So let's get to the question and then bring Andy in and tie all this together.
That sounds good. Okay, so the question today that we're going to answer is, what are the top guidelines to a healthy lifestyle? So Andy, really from your sports background and then fitness background and then acting and then currently even what you're doing now in the sports world, I mean, you can speak into this and have on a lot of levels as an expert. So is this something that you've been passionate about your whole life, Andy?
Yes, I would say absolutely. Besides my faith, I would say that fitness and exercise has been probably the number one therapy every day of my life. And from stress of different careers or just whatever life throws at you, we all have our own psychoses in different things. Yeah. My way of dealing with all of it has always been exercise, and so I'm passionate about it from that standpoint, but also helping fellow parents, deal with stress, and then helping, now that I'm a dad myself, helping kids. Just try to establish good habits, and so I think that's kind of one basic belief is that our fitness level is really one of, if not the only thing that we can actually control
right
in our lives. Everything else can be affected by other people or even the weather or the news or whatever it is, but we determine to some extent, even if it's just getting up earlier for 30 minutes and going for a walk, we determine our fitness level in a lot of ways. So that's something that, in this crazy world, and we all are a little bit OCD. I mean, that's kind of, for me, it's one way I can actually have a little bit of control over my day.
That's really cool to hear. And I know, I mean, judging on your resume, you're 95 years old at this point, and so that's pretty impressive that you're still in such good shape at your age, But right. No, but Andy, you are one of those that you do practice what you preach, and so I know that this is more than theory for you. So when it comes to guidelines for a healthy lifestyle, can you boil it down to us? What are some of the top tips for a healthy lifestyle?
Yeah, absolutely. And let me preface this, guys, with just saying that, everyone is at a different point in this journey, whether you've never exercised or whether you were Arnold Schwarzenegger at one point and you want to get back in shape, whatever that is. I try to help people get to wherever they want to go. Mm-hmm. So, I stress, don't compare yourself to anybody else. This is just for you to be a little bit better than you were yesterday, but not as good as you'll be tomorrow, and so we'll get to some of that stuff. And I have a million of these rules that I've literally been in the gym every day for 30 years now and just trying to help people. I got my first personal training job in 1999, and so I've learned everything kind of the hard way of myself, but then helping other people.
Right.
And I've done everything the wrong way as well, and just learned, by trial and error. So I don't consider myself the world's greatest expert in absolutely anything, but these are some things that I know to be tried and true and basic truths that if you stick with these things, you will see positive change in how you look, how you feel, and how you perform. And that's really how it breaks down. So
that's great.
Let's start with, so number one here is kind of a misnomer, but it's actually intake is more important than exercise.
Wow.
So
explain that. Explain that.
Yeah. Intake is everything that you put into your machine, eating and drinking.
Got it.
And so, it all kind of comes down to, a saying that I have is your metabolism is kind of like a bonfire. And so metabolism is basically how we're burning calories, how efficiently our machine is running. And if you think about a fire, it needs fuel and oxygen. Oxygen is the exercise. And, we'll get to this in another rule here, but the exercise, it doesn't really matter as much what type of exercise as it does that you are exercising.
Okay.
And so we'll get to that exercise point in a second. But really what's important is the fuel. And if you, are doing great workouts, but you're eating garbage, you're going to be basically taking 2 steps forward and 2 steps back.
So, Bo, put those Twinkies down right now. I told you not during the podcast, Bo.
Or save them for your treat night, Bo. That's
there you
fine.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
No, but that's interesting because everybody says, I'm going to exercise and diet, right? And I think that's pretty much, you just opened up my ears when you said that, because that's pretty much where everyone starts. The majority of people say, I'm going to exercise and diet. Well, no, you stepped back before that and said, watch what you're putting in your body first.
Yep. And
all starts at the beginning.
All of this is trying to create a healthy lifestyle. And, the D word is one I try to never use. I don't like the word diet because it connotates temporary. A temporary status. And how many people do we know went on a diet and lost 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, and then unfortunately they gained that back because it's not sustainable. That's a temporary thing. What we're trying to do is create good habits which become your lifestyle. And so, that number one rule, intake is more important than exercise. That is, we just want to get to a point where we're not eating technically less. We're just eating better.
Yeah.
And just making smarter choices. And so, one kind of rule inside of that number one rule is, and then we'll move on, but think about the 80-20 rule. And that is, if 80% of what we put into our body is good, clean, usable fuel that our bonfire can burn cleanly, then 20% can be Twinkies. Or, whatever it is. And so however you want to break that down, if it's 80% of what you eat during a day is good, and then 20% you can get away with. Or if it's 4 days in a row, you eat really well. And then the fifth night, if you have a date night on Thursday night, and you're going to go out for pizza or whatever that is, then that's fine. Our bodies can totally handle that 20% as long as we are moving every day. As long as 80% is good, clean, burnable fuel, then 20% can be the deliciousness and the fun foods and the treats. And so, you can look ahead at your week and, you don't have to get so crazy like a fitness model or a bodybuilder and actually do all your meal prep. But it does help to do some preparation and think about, on a Sunday night, okay, what do I have this week? What's going to be my fun day or my fun night? And, what am I going to eat for lunch each day this week? And, it goes from there. So a little bit of pre-thought really helps so that you don't end up on a Tuesday and you're starving and you pull through McDonald's and then you end up feeling bad for it, where you just thought about it earlier, you'd be prepared and you wouldn't get to that point where you're starving and you make just kind of that quick, easy decision.
Right. That makes sense to me. I can see where you get yourself in trouble where if you're not thinking about it and then you get in that last minute situation, then you're just grabbing usually for something that's probably not that great.
And that's obviously very hard to do. I did that at a time in my life where you're you're putting things in Tupperware for the next day or whatever, or working at night, and it takes a lot of time away from the kids, right? And those are excuses and stuff. It's not that it's not doable, and I don't mean to come across negative, but it is hard, and you have to learn that and sort of live that lifestyle, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And hard is true, but easy usually ends up taking you a place you don't want to be.
That's right.
Just some forethought. So that's number one, guys, is just put it into our mind that, just because you do a workout doesn't mean you can go to Carl's Jr. right after the workout because you've earned that big cheeseburger.
Yeah.
That cheeseburger probably has more calories in it than your workout just burned. So you just got to think.
That's what I've
reward
found.
Yourself.
That's what I found a lot. Yourself. You get on the treadmill and you go for 45 minutes and you've burned 200 calories. Well, that's one piece of your dinner.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I've actually I've spoken about that before with and I've used smoothies as the example. And one of the big smoothies from Smoothie King can have as much as 1,000 calories in it. There you go. And people think it's a health food.
Yeah.
And so they'll go to the gym and ride the bike for 20 minutes and burn about 57 calories, and then they've actually gained weight by going to the gym. So it's unfortunate.
That's it. All right, number 2, Andy.
All right, number 2. Let's say very simple. Move every day.
Okay, I can do that.
Move every day. And I say the number one factor in getting where you want to be is consistency. Don't think about ever getting the world's greatest workout one time. It's not about going to the gym and bench pressing 600 pounds and then being so sore that you don't go back to the gym for 3 days.
Yeah.
It is not about getting the world's greatest workout, but consistently getting good workouts.
That's great. That's almost like the diet principle, but just applied to exercise, where you just blitz for a week or two on the exercise and then you overdo it, never want to go do it again. Well, that wasn't very helpful then.
Yep. That's 100%. So, it's move every day, and people think, well, I only work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I would say, well, why is that? And they say, well, I can't devote 2 hours, more than 3 times a week. And I said, well, can you do 30 minutes 7 days a week?
Yeah,
that's better for your body because you think about that metabolism. That oxygen has to be pumped into our bodies every day, and so whether that is for you walking twice around your block. Yep. Or whether that's, swimming some laps or doing some weightlifting, whatever it is. And so that's move every day. And it segues right into number 3. So sorry, Ronnie, I'm taking your hosting job here.
No, you're good. You're doing great.
Right into number 3, because they go together really, is the best type of exercise. I can't tell you how many times I've been asked, what's the best type of exercise? Like, people say, Andy, tell me what workouts you do. I'm going to do exactly what you do. And my response is always, well, first of all, no, you're not going to. But second of all, the best thing for me is probably not what is the best thing for you, because each body is That's unique.
True. Yeah.
And so the very best type of exercise is the one you'll actually do.
That's good.
And like I could tell you that, you'll find people who say CrossFit's the best workout, or triathlon training's the best workout, or, swimming's the best workout. And I always say, well, okay, will you do that every day? Go in a CrossFit gym and pay all kinds of money and then go there and then unfortunately maybe hurt a shoulder and then they won't go to the gym for 6 months.
Right.
And is that better for your body than if you had just gone for a slow jog 15 minutes a day every day? No, it's not. So the best type of exercise is find something that you can tolerate doing. For some people, I get it. Exercise is just a miserable idea. But can you buy a bicycle and ride? Can you take your kids to the playground and just walk around the park while they're at the playground? You know what? Like literally anything, any movement is better than no movement. Exponentially better than no movement.
Well, I like that because I noticed on like your Instagram feed and YouTube, and go ahead and give people where they can look those up.
So yeah, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter would be Andy What's Next. All one word, Andy What's Next.
Cool.
Great.
And then on YouTube, I think you can just search Andy McDermott Fitness.
Yeah, that's great, because what I've noticed, at least lately, there's been a lot of really cool stuff in your feed just about exercises that you can do basically anywhere with very limited, equipment. And that to me dovetails to this idea of just move every day and do whatever exercise you'll actually do.
Yeah, 100%. And that really stemmed from, the pandemic and gyms were closed and people were home. And, I just tell people, like, your muscles don't know where they are. Our muscles are basically stupid. They have no idea where they are. They don't know. They don't know if my hands are on the ground and I'm pushing my body up and down through space off of the ground in a push-up, or if I'm holding a bar and pushing a barbell at a gym. Yeah. My pectoral muscles have no idea where they are. Yeah. They just know that they're being asked to adapt and change and get stronger. So whether you're in your garage or you're at the nicest Equinox gym in New York City, your muscles have no idea. So it's really just about being creative and finding ways to move every day.
That's great. All right, number 4.
Number 4, there's no such thing as a magic pill. There's no miracle diet, and there is no secret invention. So no magic pills, no miracle diets, no secret inventions.
Wow.
I wish there were.
That's big. You've just undone a whole industry of people that pitch otherwise.
Right.
Suzanne Summers, Jack LaLanne.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have worked for some of those companies, and so I wish them no ill will. But I will, go to my grave telling people, don't waste their money. That if you eat this or drink this or buy this, then you'll look, feel, perform the way that you want to without working for it.
Right.
And, the good news is, it doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be miserable. Really what we're trying to do is see what bad habit you have. And I kind of believe that we all know what's a bad habit, right? If you stop every day on your way home from work and get a couple of donuts, then you probably know that that's not great for you.
Yeah.
And so how do you replace that bad habit? Because I also have learned for people, it's really hard just to break a bad habit. Our habits are strong. They're actually stronger than our willpower. But
that's pretty big. You said habits are stronger than our willpower.
Yeah.
That I can see that.
Yeah. And so it's really hard to just break a bad habit, because then that's a black hole in our psyche, in our day, in our timeline, where you start to, freak out and tweak a little bit. And I need those 2 donuts. Can you replace that bad habit? Can you, maybe with something that is just slightly less bad at first, with like maybe it's a good tasting Cliff Bar or something like that, that on your way home from work, that you have a Cliff Bar in your bag, and you can drink that, and maybe with a bubbly seltzer water. Then you have replaced that habit with something that's actually beneficial for your body. And then that bad habit becomes a good habit. And then if you do those good habits for 2 to 3 weeks, it's a little bit different for each person, but 2 to 3 weeks, then it becomes your lifestyle. Yeah. And then that becomes part of your daily routine.
Right.
And that's the same thing with exercise. I promise, even if you're listening out there and you haven't exercised in a year, if you can just do something, if you can get up every day just 15 minutes earlier and just do some stretching for 3 weeks, then that is so huge for your body. Your body will be so much happier 3 weeks from now. And then maybe you'll have the energy to go walk around your block for 3 weeks. It always kills me when I see a personal trainer at a gym, and sorry for these trainers, but really not sorry, because that's your job. And they have, someone who's really obese and really out of shape, and they're trying to get them to do like a clean and jerk. or
Wow.
Yeah.
snatch with a dumbbell. And I'm like, what are you doing? That poor person just needs to go walking,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and they need to walk maybe for 2 months,
Yeah.
and so, that's kind of a longer conversation, but we're trying to create sustainable change.
Yeah.
And so, we're not talking diets. We're not talking about a 2-week killer workout or anything like that. We're trying to say, here are a couple of changes you can make for this month. And then next month, once that's your lifestyle, then add a couple more changes.
That's good.
And then, before you know it, in 6 months, you'll have more of a healthy lifestyle. And before you know it, everybody always wants to say, well, how fast am I going to lose this weight? How I want to be different by June because I'm going to Disneyland or whatever. And I have to say, just you have to think about, like, how long did it take you to get out of shape? It may have been 5 years that you've been kind of going down. It's true about our body. We don't ever stay the same. Our homeostasis, unfortunately, because we age, it's not a level plane. We're either getting better or we're getting worse.
That's fascinating, Andy, because I can see that. I was kind of blessed just from genetics to have a fast metabolism. I'm a tall guy, and with just kind of a thin build, and then I'm 47 now. At about 42, I started to notice, I can't eat whatever I want and stay the same anymore. Like it was radical. I'd had a whole lifetime of not having to worry about what I'm eating, which wasn't good, but I wasn't, I couldn't eat. I had a roommate in college that would, look at a candy bar and gain the weight, but for me, I could eat, a whole package of double stuffed Oreos and lose 2 pounds, Go
back to step one, Ronnie.
Right. Exactly. And so the lifestyle aspect that you're talking about is so huge, because I had kind of got accustomed to. Now, I was relatively active and whatnot, but I wasn't watching my lifestyle. Then all of a sudden I hit my 40s, and it's been such a game. It's been so hard to shift my lifestyle, but I can see where just a flash in the pan thing or doing a couple activities isn't going to do it. It's the adjustment across my whole lifestyle.
Yeah, that's right. And just, figuring out your metabolism, because you're right. You hit the nail on the head. As we age, our metabolism slows down.
Yeah.
And so it's just realizing what we can get away with. And, I am not an advocate of having no fun and no deliciousness, so
right.
We just have to accept the fact that every meal doesn't have to be a gourmet, delicious meal.
Right.
We have to eat more for fuel, but then treat ourselves with that deliciousness as the exception to the rule, instead of thinking, I remember, as a cop, the funnest question for all the guys when they got to work is where we're going to eat today. And, and unfortunately, that's why you see so many heavy cops. Because, some of them grow a sedentary lifestyle, and then they eat something heavy, especially the overnight men and women who, can't find anything open besides whatever it was, Wendy's or whatever was open 24 hours. And so, every meal doesn't have to be special and delicious and a treat. It just has to be our bodies.
Yeah,
so.
No, that's good. All right, give us number 5, Andy, and we'll wrap
All
this
right.
up.
Yeah, number 5 is it's kind of 3 things. It's be realistic, be kind to yourself, because there's no such thing as perfect.
That's a good way to wrap it up.
Yeah. And that's for all of us. And I will tell you firsthand, being in Hollywood and working with, some people that you would see in People magazine or on TV as having the best physiques in the world. And then working for Muscle and Fitness, one of my jobs was, their expert advisor for photo shoots. And so whenever they came to LA or Santa Monica or Long Beach, and they would have, a bodybuilder or a fitness model, men or women, and they did their cover shoots for Muscle and Fitness, they would send me there to make sure the models were doing the exercises right for the magazine, which was, sometimes hilarious because these were some of the best workout people in the world, so talk about an easy job. But although you'd be surprised at some of these, they would kind of be genetic, models.
Yeah.
All that to say, even those people don't look like that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
They get into really freakish shape for their photo shoot or for that, filming
event.
Wolverine or for, the bodybuilding show. But 6 months out of the year, you would never even recognize those people as being fitness or physique people.
Yeah.
And so, that relentlessness of, that crazy nutrition and intake and those crazy workouts and having a personal chef and a personal trainer and all the rest of that is not realistic. And we can't allow ourselves to compare ourselves to those people because we're all on our own adventure. We all have our own bodies, our own metabolisms. And we literally just have to compare ourselves with how we looked, felt, and performed yesterday and just try to be a little bit better today.
Yeah, that sounds super good. I love the whole thing because it brings it down to a level that I can begin, and I think anybody can begin, and it's a whole lifestyle that I think that it'll have huge effects all the way around. Have you noticed a big tie between emotional life and physical life? Yes,
100%. And I tie everything into, for me, it's physical, emotional, and spiritual. And, if I am not doing the work in any one of those three areas, then the other two suffer. So, I just know, and honestly, I have not had a day without, some exercise in a long, long time.
Yeah.
But if Julie was sitting here, she would just tell you that, I'd be unbearable. If I know that I have something tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., then I'll get up at 4, and I just know that I have to do it. It's just, for me, it's preventive maintenance and it's just a prescription that I have to live by. And so, but again, to each their own. It doesn't have to be psycho like that. It literally can be as simple as what's your day look like tomorrow, and schedule it with just as much dedication as you would schedule a meeting with your CEO or whoever it is, because it's that important. If you don't take care of your body, then there is no meeting with the CEO. So, just you have to schedule it and you have to prioritize it because it is that important.
That's great. Okay, so let's sum it up here, Andy. So again, give us the top 5 guidelines to a healthy lifestyle. What was number 1?
Yep. Intake is more important than exercise.
Awesome. And number 2?
Move every day.
3
is the best type of exercise is the one you'll actually do.
Cool. And 4?
4, there are no magic pills, no miracle diets, and no secret inventions.
Oh, so good. And then number 5?
Be realistic. Be kind to yourself. There's no such thing as perfection.
That's so good. Well, Andy, we've got you for another episode next week, and we're going to be able to hear a little bit more about this new venture that you're involved in the Chicago area and a charitable organization called Intentional Sports. And excited to hear that and answer a good question about what we can do to be good sports parents. That affects just about every single parent that we've got. And
right.
Even the kids, it's the type of parent you'd probably want on the sidelines. So we're excited to hear about that too. Andy, give us again where we can follow you or find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, I'm at Andy What's Next. And on YouTube, I am at Andy McDermott Fitness.
Well, awesome. Andy, you're the best. Super thankful for your friendship, and I know this is going to be a huge blessing to a whole bunch of people that'll be listening.
By the way, just to wrap things up, are we done with his bio yet? Has he done anything that we need to mention during this interview?
Well, in the next episode, we'll continue the back half of his resume.
He's got children. He's in the PTA.
Oh, right. And if you want the other side of that bio, then I'll bring Julie and the kids up, and they'll tell you like I'm a terrible singer and I can't add 2 + 2. And
Beautiful.
they'll tell you the real truth.
Oh, that's good.
Thanks for being with us, Andy. We look forward to talking to you next week.
My pleasure, guys. Looking forward to it.
All right, folks. Thanks so much for being with us, and remember, you never have to feel dumb for asking.
Thanks for listening to Feel Dumb for Asking with Ronnie and Bo. Available on your favorite podcast provider. Please connect with Ronnie and Bo on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and RonnieandBoShow.com. Send comments to RonnieandBoShow@gmail.com.